This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. Week number 8 in the National Football League. Sunday night football, Green Bay Packers at the New Orleans Saints. You knew this one was going to be a dandy, and that it was for a half of football before injuries started to set in and one team ran away from the other. I talked about this game in the preview, and I said, look, man, the Saints are a tough out at home. And everybody looks at the record, and they jump on the Saints and say they're not the same team, they're this, they're that, they're the other. But I said, look, man, the Saints have played 4 road games, only 2 at home. They're still undefeated at home. I said the 3 biggest home field advantages in this league are as follows, in this exact order: Seattle, New Orleans, and Arizona. And so if I'm any team in any conference, doesn't matter, NFC, AFC, I don't care. I don't want to go to New Orleans, especially on prime time. It's even louder and they play even better when the lights are their brightest at home. So this was going to be tough. And nobody was hotter in the NFC, maybe sans the Dallas Cowboys, than the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they had reeled off 4 consecutive wins. The offense was just playing out of their minds. Aaron Rodgers was doing it again, playing at an MVP-like level, and they were just ringing up points and doing what the Packers have been known to do under Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. And so they came into this game riding a 4-game winning streak and just playing lights-out football, clicking on all cylinders. So it was going to be a tough task to ask this Saints defense to slow them down, but if anybody was going to be game, it was going to be this Saints football team at home. So let's jump into it. The opening possession on 3rd and 10, on an off-schedule play, Aaron Rodgers finds Randall Cobb for a 70-yard touchdown. I talked about Ben Roethlisberger and his ability to make things happen when the play breaks down. Tony Romo was another guy you could throw into that equation, but to me, no one does it better than Roethlisberger, A-Rod, and Romo. When the play breaks down and these guys have to improvise, there aren't any better quarterbacks in the league at making you pay for not being able to get pressure on the quarterback or not being able to get that quarterback on the ground. You let them out of the pocket, they start pointing their fingers and redirecting traffic. Next thing you know, they're flinging it 40, 50 yards down the field and somebody's running for a touchdown. These guys do it the best in the league, and A-Rod did it again. Off-schedule play, Randall Cobb just hanging around, finally goes up the field. Rodgers spots him, throws a dart, he catches it, runs up the sideline, 70-yard touchdown. Just like that, it's 7-0. Packers on top in this game. Saints respond with a 7-play, 80-yard touchdown drive. 43 on a Kenny Stills grab down to the 4-yard line where Brandon Cooks jet sweeps it into the end zone. It's 7-all in this game. So the Saints basically, they had their first 15 scripted. You know Sean Payton couldn't wait to unleash them. They went perfectly as planned. They get in the end zone, and just like that, we're knotted up at 7. What did you expect? I mean, two of the most high-powered offenses clashing on Sunday Night Football. You had to expect some fireworks early in this game, and you got it. 67-yard screen for Eddie Lacy down to the 4-yard line where J-Pep, they put J-Pep in the game. I mean, the Pack were being arrogant here. They said, all right, not only are we going to put J-Pep in the backfield, motion him out to receiver, but we actually going to throw this man the football. I mean, you know, when you see a guy come in the game that usually plays defense, it's normally the block as a lead blocker. They had the audacity to put him in the backfield, motion him out, send J-Pep out. J-Pep just like this. I'm thinking, okay, you know how quarterbacks are, you know, if you running like a wildcat or something and the quarterback is out wide, you know, he's a decoy. He's not getting the football, right? Wrong. J-Pep standing there, and I'm like, oh, look at J-Pep. He looking all like he about to run around or something. J-Pep, give me a little shimmy at the line, gives me the slant. He's open. A-Rod hits him right in between the 5 and the 6, and he drops the slant, man. No, J-Pep. You could have had a touchdown. How huge would that have been? I mean, that would have been deflating to the Saints. The whole entire Packers bench would have went nuts if J-Pep jumps into the game and gets a touchdown. I mean, that could have been a huge momentum boost if that play goes the way that the Packers drew it up. But instead, J-Pep looks like the defensive player that he is, has the ball, beat him up in his chest. I mean, it was a nice three-piece combo. Bap, bap, bap. Beat him up in his chest. Ball is incomplete. And so that's kind of deflated that drive. And then it leads to a sack on the next play. They don't pick up the defensive end, Cameron Jordan. He gets a sack. And it leads to a field goal. So, I mean, that was huge because that could have been 14-7. That could have been all the momentum in the world in the favor of the Packers. The whole bench would have been ignited by that. I mean, that would have been the ultimate slap in the face to the Saints. I mean, who does that? Who puts a defensive player in the game and then throws him the football? Nobody does that. I mean, that's disrespectful is what that is. I mean, that's arrogance. I mean, you don't put in a defensive player. And, I mean, I remember when the Bears put in Refrigerator Perry. Mike Ditka did that to get back at the 49ers. It was a spite thing. I mean, you don't put in a guy and just randomly give them a chance to score a touchdown unless the other team stinks. The Saints don't stink. So to me, I looked at it as a slight. You know, they're trying to slap the Saints in the face here. And so it backfired. Now it's 10-7. And then they have the audacity after that. And, you know, they were just pulling out. Look, Mike McCarthy was pulling the Saints card. He said, hey, man, are you one? I'm going to pull your card tonight. Let me see what you're about. And the Saints said, you really going to try to pull my card, man? Really? So first you try to put a defensive player in and try to score a touchdown with that dude. Okay, so we make you kick a field goal after that because he didn't catch it. And then you want to try an onside kick? Mike, you asking for it tonight. You asking for it tonight, man. Mike was pulling out all the stops. He was trying to get this one. Mike wanted this one bad. So they don't recover the onside kick, which gives up great field position. The Saints don't need your help. If there's one team who's at home that doesn't need your help offensively, it's the Saints. They don't need your help. Not when they're at home. They don't need your help. So they got down the field after that. I mean, it was a short field as it was, but the Packers are able to force a field goal. J-Pep, who is steaming hot after the drop touchdown, says, hey, I got to make amends. I cost us a touchdown. Now I got to cost you a touchdown. He gets a sack. Forces the Saints to have to kick a field goal. It's now 10-all in the football game as we go to the second quarter. Pats continue to move the football, but have to settle for a field goal as Bakhtiari is called for a holding penalty. It's 13-10. You know the mantra, you know the motto. What is it? Give it to me. That's right. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. And you know, Saints, Packers, I'm looking for points. I'm looking for explosive plays. I'm not looking for field goals, man, because the winner of this game probably going to score 30-something, maybe even 40 points. That was my mindset coming into this game. So you kicking field goals, probably not a smart idea. Probably not going to benefit you in the long run. You need to score a touchdown. So 13-10 Packers up. Breeze leads his troops down the field after a Cooks drop, and he's got a penchant for this. I mean, he'll make the spectacular play and then he'll drop one. And this was in double coverage, and it was going to be a beautiful throw by Breeze to shred him, you know, the defense and to just needle it in there. But maybe somebody's hand got in his vision right as he was trying to catch. He got to catch the football, man. Catch the football. This was a gorgeous throw, and you got to make this play. And so they get a field goal after that huge drop that would have put them right smack dab at the Packers about 15 to 10 yard line or so. So now it's 13 all in the game. Each team trades field goals right before the half, makes it 16 all as we head to the halftime break. After a failed opening drive by the Saints, and as they went for it on 4th down, did not get it. A-Rod comes up lane after scrambling. Then a deflected pass is picked by David Hawthorne as the Packers were threatening to score as they were inside the red zone of the Saints. And it was funny because Chris Collinsworth said, I've never seen a game turn on the injury of a guy that didn't have to leave the field on a cart. When Aaron Rodgers came up lane, when he scrambled and picked up about a good 9 yards on a run and came back holding his hammy, the game was never the same. I mean, literally, the Packers didn't score another point with Aaron Rodgers in the game. Okay? This game was essentially over the minute Rodgers came up lane, because after he comes up lane, he throws the interception, and after that interception, Breeze makes them pay. Ingram was, oh my gosh, Mark Ingram. I've talked about Mark Ingram. I talked about him in my lab reports in the offseason. I said this guy is everything that he was pegged to be as a first-round pick. The problem is he doesn't get the amount of reps that he's supposed to because the Saints employ this, running back by committee scheme. This kid is a #1 back in this league. He can carry a team on his shoulders. I have nothing but the utmost confidence in Mark Ingram. And for those of you who watch me in the offseason, you know that I was talking Mark Ingram all offseason. And I said, if you just give this kid the football, he will make you a believer. And so you saw it. The Saints, out of necessity, had to feed Mark Ingram the football. And what does he do? 24 carries, $170 and some change, and a touchdown? I mean, the kid is legit. You just got to give him opportunities. And when Kyrie Robinson and Pierre Thomas and Tavares Cadet are all in there, you all got to figure out how to get everybody carries, and you got to divvy it up. Mark Ingram, as soon as he gets lathered up, you see Mark come in the game, and Mark runs a dude over, and he runs for like 11 yards, and then he gets another run for 8, and you're like, oh man, Mark is about to do these boys in. They take him out. Here comes Pierre Thomas. Here comes, Tavares Cadet. Here comes Kyrie Robinson. You're like, God damn, he was just getting lathered up. Let this man run the rock, man. Damn. And you saw it. There was no, Kyrie Robinson. There was no Pierre Thomas. It was just Tavares Cadet and Mark Ingram, and Mark went to work last night. He was eating. Yum, yum, eat him up. Yum, yum, eat him up. That young man was eating last night. And so both of the Bama boys had a field day. I mean, if you looked across the field, Eddie Lacy was like a man possessed. And I was talking to a buddy of mine. He said, man, Eddie needs to play at home in front of his parents every game. Because, Eddie's from Louisiana. Mom and dad were in the stands. And Eddie was playing like he was out of this world. I mean, he looked like a man amongst boys. He looked like pee-wee football. You got the one kid that's like 150 pounds. Everybody else is like 90 pounds. And he's really not supposed to be playing because he's overweight. That was Eddie Lacy, man. Dude just looked like a man amongst boys. I mean, he was running through tackles and just doing his thing. Over 100 yards receiving. The dude was lights out last night. So both of the Bama backs were on display. But Ingram, to me, was the guy that showcased, because we've seen Eddie Lacy do this before. We haven't seen Ingram get the chance to do this, and I was so pleased that he got the opportunity, because I've been screaming from the rooftops, just give a man a chance. He can do this every single week. The dude is a baller. But, okay, I rest my case. I just had to say that because there's a lot of people who think that he wasn't worth the first-round pick. He's not Trent Richardson. Don't confuse the two. Trent Richardson is a different animal. Mark Ingram was worth the first-round pick, all right? Of all the Bama backs, I've said this before, I'll say it again, he's the best out of the group if you just give him the football. I rest my case. So he continues his big night with a long run to start the drive. Then two Jimmy Graham catches sets up a 50-yard Brandon Cooks touchdown. Makes amends for the drop earlier in the game that would have set up a scoring drive, or excuse me, maybe even a touchdown. They ended up getting a field goal on the drive, but he dropped the football on a deep one. This time he catches it, and so huge play. And this gives the Saints the lead for the first time in this game. So that was a huge play for the Saints as they take the lead 23-16 after that bomb. It was funny because Chris Collinsworth called this one. It was like he was calling a shot. He said, hey, Jimmy Graham is starting to get going. The running game has been going all night. I feel a big one coming. They're loosening them up. And boom, the very next play, Brandon Cooks, 50-yard touchdown, just like that. Devontae Adams initially ruled to have made the line to gain on a third down. It's challenged by the Saints. Great challenge. It's overturned. And you could argue that maybe he had the first down. You could argue maybe he didn't have the first down. When it was all said and done, Ed Hockley ruled that he didn't have the first down. So now the Packers elect to go for it, which was rolling the dice because, again, scam money don't make money. But you're at your own 40-yard line and you're down 7 already, and the Saints have all the momentum in the game. Aaron Rodgers has already shown he's coming up lame. I don't know if I go for it here. Maybe you punt the football and see if your defense can make something happen. Maybe you go for it. He decided to go for it. They don't get it. They stop Eddie Lacy. And at this point, you had to know, you got to pay for that. If you're going to go for it in your own territory at the 40-yard line, and this is the second time you've given Drew Brees, directly or indirectly, great field position because of a decision that you made. An onside kick, and now a 4th and 1 that's failed. And look, you're asking for trouble, man. You're beating down the wrong door. This is not the type of trouble that you want. But you asked for it, so now you got to get it. And so after that play, they get the football. Saints take over 4 plays later, 22-yard Jimmy Graham touchdown. It's 30-16. At that point, you kind of saw the writing on the wall where this game was going. But just for good measure, A-Rod is picked off again, this time by Corey White. That leads to a 7-play, 71-yard drive where the finisher happens as Josh Hill catches a 1-yard touchdown. To put a seal on this one, 37-16, Packers would take A-Rod out, and the Saints would end up cruising to a 44-23 victory. Huge game for Mark Ingram. Drew Brees, 400 yards passing. It was just an all-around great night for the Saints, who I already said I think they're going to win this division when it's all said and done. This sets up a huge NFC South showdown with the division lead on the line. Somebody's got to win this division, right? Why not the Saints? I think they're the best team in this division. The defense is starting to play better with a little bit of confidence and a lot of ferocity. Now let's see if they can take that act on the road and finally win a road game this season. They're 0-4 on the road, which is why they haven't been able to get it done this season. Let's see if they can get this one on the road versus the Carolina Panthers on Thursday Night Football. Meanwhile, the Packers, you got to worry about the status of your guy, A-Rod. If he's not healthy, this team is nowhere. As he goes, this team goes. So it's all about A-Rod and the hamstring. I believe the Packers are hitting their bye week, so they could definitely use the rest that's coming their way for him to nurse that injury and for them to kind of lick their wounds and come back from this beating that they suffered at the hands of the Saints. They're fine. It happens. A lot of teams go into New Orleans, and most of them come out with an L. So it's no different for the Packers in this one as they fall 44-23. They're 5-3. They now fall a half game behind the Lions. Having lost to the Lions already, that makes it a full game deficit to the Lions. But again, a lot of season left. They still got to play those same Lions in Green Bay later on in the season. So no harm, no foul. You just got to get back to playing winning football the next time you step on the field. And so that's going to do it for the Sunday Night Football Packers at Saints. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 8 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.